I tell you what, this camera is a line in the sand. Any gang stalkers that come along knocking, trying to cross that line, I will record them and expose them to the world. So those gang stalkers better watch themselves.
And finally, I've talked about milestone attacks or milestone day attacks, where there's a sudden and unprovoked flaring up of anger and aggression directed at me by one or more persons that believe I've done them some great wrong. And it happens on the same day that I achieve something important, or I make some significant progress in achieving it.
Why are you filming me? What are you creeping around for? Who the fuck do you think you are, mate? You're pissing me off, mate, alright? You're pissing me off. I'll see you on the fucking street. You're pissing me right off. You fucking dumb cunt. I don't know what you're playing with, you dumb fucker. I'm fucking king, you cunt.
I've been making a lot of progress since I posted that last clip, which admittedly was a while ago now, and the time I've taken to focus on nothing else but my goals has been well worth it. Nowadays, every day is a milestone day, but the gains I've made have also predictably brought with them a lot of hostility and suspicion from those around me when I'm out in public. I haven't seen that perp on the staircase since that encounter, but as usual there have been others waiting to take over from where their predecessors left off. For example, here I am leaving the local community centre I go to from time to time. As I approach the sidewalk, I see what at first appears to be a random stranger walking by, wrapped up in his own thoughts. But as soon as he sees me, I become the sole focus of his attention for the next minute or so, as he suddenly begins talking to me like we're old enemies, gesturing angrily while dropping bits of his sandwich on the ground. I couldn't hear what he was saying for the most part, but you can definitely tell he's not happy with me. And that was someone I've never seen before, mind you. So why direct his anger and frustration at me, a total stranger? Because I'm not a stranger to him. He knows full well who I am, and I know full well he's a perp, hence why you can hear me laughing. I know there are unseen forces at play here pulling his strings, hoping to lay down some cheap bait for me, but I'm not biting. Notice the Nazi salute. This particular perp works at my local train station. He's been trying to pick a fight with me for a while now, but this time I captured him on camera. His thing is to wait outside whichever toilet cubicle I'm using at the station. When I exit the toilet, he will either say or do something threatening, or make a veiled comment about drug addicts using the toilet, even though I don't and never have used drugs. I don't even drink alcohol. Anyway, this particular morning when I open the toilet door and see him standing there as usual, watching me with that same mix of amusement and disdain on his face, looking like he might be gearing up to say something, I keep the camera trained on him as I walk past him.
Off you go! You're not a customer, no. What's this harassment now, isn't it? You've got it on camera, not me, coming straight through there.
Look at the expression on his face and his body language, as if I better get out of his way. But it's all part of the script, and I already know what would happen if I were to retaliate.
Boy, stop it now! That's not Peter. Peter. Greg.
Call police.
Besides, I'm not going to waste my opportunity to record him, so I stay quiet and I move aside as he approaches. I reported him afterwards and he's kept a low profile since, but like I said, there's always more like him waiting in the wings.
I would too.
Speaking of which, even my choice of where to sit down in public gets a lot of attention. If I make a habit of sitting in the same place, someone eventually comes along and tries to make a big deal about me sitting there.
I'm sorry, you can't sit there, my friend. If you're going to sit, you have to sit over there for the front.
This perp, a security guard at the local shopping mall, doesn't want me sitting here. There's a step beneath a wall of post office boxes to my left that makes the perfect sitting place. People have been sitting there for years. In fact, sometimes they even sit on the floor. When I point this out to him, he replies that people shouldn't be sitting in the area.
You can't sit underneath me.
Why? People sit along there.
Sorry?
People sit along there. What's the difference between...
Yeah, they shouldn't be sitting there in front of the boxes, so you can't sit under the stairs here.
Yet people continue to sit there to this day for all manner of reasons, and nobody has had a problem with it before or since. Not even the same perp who told me I couldn't sit there. Here he is standing in front of someone who is sitting down exactly where he said people are not allowed to sit, minutes after he said I couldn't sit there. People even leave their pets there to go and do their shopping. And that's him walking right past and ignoring people sitting there as if he doesn't remember what he said. He does, of course, but those people are not targets, so they're left alone. I'm not going to be there long, and it's also my birthday, which is why this perp chose that day out of the dozens of other days I've sat there, a type of milestone day attack. I have better things to do than argue with him on my birthday, so I tell him I'll be done in a minute, and then leave.
In front of the boxes, so you can't sit under the stairs here.
Can you tell me
Sit
why?
over there. Is there a reason why you want to sit here?
Yeah, because I'm on the computer.
Yeah, you can be on the computer at the front there. You can't sit underneath here.
People have been sitting there for years.
Yeah. If you want to sit
Well,
there,
I'm
you
going to
can
be
sit
gone in a
there.
I'm going to be gone in a minute, so let me just finish this.
Fabricating reasons why I can't sit somewhere is just another form of blocking, which I've talked about in previous videos. Gang stalkers want to interfere with my ability to move about freely and quietly enjoy the same outdoor spaces as everyone else. If I refuse to play along and do what they say, they threaten to call the police.
Now that looks like a really good hiding place.
Take the clip you're looking at now, for example, where the woman on your screen describes where I'm sitting as a really nice hiding place as she walks by. After decades of being a targeted individual, I'm not the most outgoing person, and I prefer to keep to myself with as little social interaction as possible, so I don't acknowledge what she said, although I heard her. In return, she reminds me why I'm like that.
Can I ask what you are doing here? Excuse me, sir. Sir?
When I still don't answer, she returns with someone else and continues demanding I tell her what I'm doing, peering round at my screen to see what I'm doing on my laptop. After getting no reaction from me, both of them eventually walk away.
Excuse me, sir. Sir? Excuse me. Excuse me. Hello? Hi. Can I ask what you're doing? Okay.
But I know that's not going to be the end of it. Not if gang stalkers can help it. The next day, I'm sitting in the same spot when this guy casually walks up to me. I know his approach is connected to the woman from the day before, and I know he's about to continue where she left off. Before he can even speak, I tell him to leave me alone.
Go away, please. Please. Could you just go away? Could you just go on there?
A few minutes later, he returns with the same person from the day before, who he claims is the manager of the building, saying he won't be nice if he has to tell me to move again. Based on previous experience, that sounds like a threat to physically remove me from the building. To be clear on what's about to go down, I ask him what not being nice means.
Alright, so this is the second time we ask you nicely to move. The third one is not going to be nicely. Can you please move? Sir,
What do you mean by you're not going to be nice?
we just called the police for you.
Then go do that. You just said you were going to do that.
But the manager for the venue, and we asked you to, you've got the camera there,
Yeah.
and you're recording the voters walking in.
Yes,
and
I'm
out.
recording you.
Yes, that's
No,
right.
I'm recording for who?
The voters.
I've talked about gang stalkers making false or unfounded accusations against me in order to anger me before, and here it is happening again.
Why are you starting on every cunt, bro? Why are you starting on every cunt?
Hey, 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 stop making a fucking mess in the bathroom, please. When you use the shower, please leave it clean, please.
I'm not recording any voters.
Yes, this is all the voters walking into the
I
venue.
couldn't care less about voters. I'm doing my own thing.
You can do your own thing outside.
Why are you so worried about voters? I'm not recording any voters. I didn't even know there was any vote going on here.
Yeah, this is what politics we're here for. So that's what I'm saying. The voters-
I had no idea there was a vote going on here. I'm not recording any voters. I'm doing my own thing. I'm minding my own business.
Mind your own business.
The reason why I'm recording is because of people like you who can't leave me alone. Every time I sit down for 5 seconds, someone comes up and says why I can't sit there. That's why I'm recording. I'm not recording any voters. So I've just told you I'm not recording any voters. But if you don't believe me and you want to make a big deal out of it, you call the police and I'll have this footage showing that I'm just minding my own business.
We telling
I've
the
said
police-
all I have to say. Thank
Said
you.
what I have to say. Okay.
Now, let me take you on a brief tour of the building at Town Hall to show you how stupid this all was. So this is where I was sitting. Walk through to the end of this corridor and you'll find yourself at the service counter where you can handle any business you might have with the council. As you can see here, there are other entrances to the building, so people often use the place to take a shortcut. Voting for the election took place in a large meeting room behind those large grey doors, so I was actually around the corner from where people were voting. Then there's the cafe. Then, if we go upstairs, we have a study room on the second floor, which is connected to the library on the next floor up. Then we have the library itself. There's an additional 1 or 2 floors above the library as well. My point is that the building is a multi-use one, and I would have had no way of knowing what someone was there to do when they walked through the doors closest to where I was sitting. I would have had to follow them round the corner and see them entering the voting room to know they were possibly going to vote. There's also my body camera, which looks like the one in this picture, and which I clipped to my clothes on my chest. Not very discreet of me since everyone can see it. If I wanted to record voters, I would use something that's a little less noticeable. Plus, I wasn't the only one in the building carrying a camera, was I? For one, the male perp had a phone with a camera, didn't he? And I'm sure most people in the building had one too, but I doubt they threatened them with the police if they didn't leave. I mean, apart from convenience, what's the difference between a camera on your chest and a camera in your hand? I actually called the police myself. As soon as I did that, everyone disappeared. The police never showed up, but after I left the town hall, I saw a couple of police cars parked outside another building nearby that provides similar services. I thought maybe the police attended the wrong place, so I briefly poked my head in the entrance to see they were dealing with another situation, so I left. One of them recognized me from past encounters with gang stalkers and called me back.
We just got a job.
Oh, yeah. Down at the Civic Centre.
Yeah.
I just went in there to see because I saw police cars there and then I saw you lot talking to them. So I said, oh, you must be there for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's happening down
So
there?
I was just sitting there. Every morning I get the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, from ABC.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting down in the Civic Centre near the entrance.
Yeah.
And a couple of security guards came up to me and they said that I'm spying on voters because they're doing a vote out there. I didn't even know they were doing a vote until they told me.
Yeah.
And they said they're doing a vote there and I've got this camera on my chest, so I'm obviously spying on voters. I said I'm not. I'm just getting the news. The reason why I've got this camera is to avoid
Met you
people.
before.
Yeah, to avoid people.
Recording or is it?
Yeah, I record everywhere I go.
Oh, there.
Everywhere I go. And the reason why I record is because there are people who bring trouble, and you need proof. Otherwise, it's just they confuse the issue with lies, basically.
Yeah.
And so they start saying they're going to call the police.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, well, if you want to call the police, I'll do it for you, and I call the police.
Oh, yeah. Because there's another job down there that I saw, and I just saw you come in then, and I've met you before. There's
Yeah.
one bloke walking around.
Yeah. And I'm just getting the news, and they start accusing me of being a spy.
Yeah. Okay. No, just give me 1 sec. I'll just find out from
All right.
radio.
all good. Yeah, no one else called. It was just you. But
Yeah, it was just
Matt,
me.
I don't think it was
They
just
said they
you.
were going to call the police.
Man, I've met you before.
Yeah.
All right, just as long as you're not actively trying to record people.
No, I was just getting the news. It's to record my. It's for my own personal safety.
Yeah, no dramas at all.
See, it was all a bluff. They knew full well I wasn't doing anything wrong. If I was, instead of waving his phone around trying to intimidate me by pretending to call the police, he would have actually done it. But as you saw, I was peacefully sitting down using my computer to begin with. Then after being told to leave the building, I firmly but non-violently explained that they were mistaken and then refused to engage with them any further. I did not threaten or harm anyone, and I didn't damage any property. These are the sorts of things that gang stalkers would have had no problem telling the police before I started wearing a camera. But this time they knew it was all being captured on film. So with nothing more than a baseless accusation to spice up their call to the police, they dropped the threats and disappeared like a bad smell once I'd had enough and called the police myself. And the whole episode faded away as if it never happened. I mean, what a pointless waste of time and energy that was. And it illustrates why I've been working really hard this year, to the exclusion of pretty much everything else, on speeding up the process of getting out of here. Because I've had enough of this shit.
You're a fucking monkey!
These people are never going to say enough and go away by themselves. They just keep coming back like a fungus. You get rid of one of these lunatics and another one comes along, like they're working shifts. In fact, that's exactly what they're doing. And they will not leave me alone until they either get me arrested and thrown in jail, or they see me carted off to the mental hospital. So apart from making videos like this whenever I get the chance, literally everything else I do revolves around working towards a future where I can just get through my day in peace and quiet, without any confrontation or drama, and where I don't have to keep my head on a swivel looking out for unhinged, demonically possessed idiots like this.